This is gonna be cool.
Are they in here out of convenience, necessity, or choice?
Good morning, everyone. If you have not already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell, you get notifications of my videos every Tuesday, Friday, and sometimes we do the Sunday video. It was really hot quite a while ago. I said that the cars would struggle a little bit from it being hot and it being, they were just drinking a lot of water. They were coping, they were fine. However, in that video as well, I said I spoke to someone about it and tried to improve it. Our current calf situation, we have 2 calving boxes. 1, 2. When our cows calve, they come into these 2 places. Again, we've got a quiet area, so we've just scraped it all out to keep it clean and let it have a little bit of a break. So we've got 1 spot, another spot, holds about 4 calves when we're really busy, holds about 6 calves in each pen. And this is the calf building. Anything from 2 weeks to 3 to 4 months old come into here. They might come in sometimes at 4 weeks, they might come in here at like 5 days, depending on the day, the situation, if we have space. At the moment we do have space. Calves grow really well in here. They used to be old kennels, or heifer kennels they used to call it. That's why they're built in wood, and then we kind of adapted it, and it works okay. It's not perfect, it's got a couple of issues. It's hot in summer, cold in winter, but I said I was going to invite a friend to come have a look, and here he is. Stuart is back. It is Stuart from Eternit with all his goodies, and he's going to test my calf building, because we were just talking about heat and we were talking about how well the calves are doing, and they do well in here, they do okay, but it does get warm and it does get cold. And Stuart was like, do you want to do some tests? And I was like, probably not, but we probably should. So we're back.
And that's the worst thing a farmer ever says to me, is they do okay.
I say they do okay, they do fantastic. Look at them.
Fantastic, I want to hear all the time. Okay is something that I don't want to hear.
When we bring them from where the calving boxes are, and bring them out of there into here, they do better. That's probably because
more fresh air straight away.
Yeah, and the other thing is they're not getting mixed with cows, because we do a lot of AIing in there, we do a lot of vetting in there, and it's muck from the cows. And if you didn't know, transferring muck from cow to calf is where a lot of the diseases are done. That's where colostrum is really important for your little calves. That's why we're part of the calf club for the vets, to make sure the colostrum level is okay. We blood our calves all the time to make sure they've got the right proteins in the blood. A lot of that boring stuff, we'll go into that video differently, but today we're actually going to test our calf building, and we're going to test where the cows calve, and do we leave our calves in there for too long. So we've got one here that is only 6 days, and it's been in here for 2 days, so it's 4 days.
That's great.
That's great, but I moved that one at the same time as I moved this one that's 4 weeks.
And my advice would be 24 hours.
24 hours. Well, whenever you take the calf off.
Or when you take the calf off.
And that's just because sometimes it's easier to monitor them there, but they do better in here. Well, what are we going to do today, Stuart?
We're going to be doing all the same tests as we did last time in the cubicles. Smoke, wind speed, air movement, and the line community. But I've also got this new little toy, which is an NH3 gas, or ammonia.
Yeah.
And ammonia is important for these little guys. Pneumonia is obviously a real problem in a lot of farms.
Yeah. But pneumonia is always a problem autumn and spring, because of the weather change from going hot and cold.
Viral pneumonia is.
Okay.
Not bacterial pneumonia.
But I think there's going to be some very interesting stuff, because the sun's out, and this is what I'm interested in.
Yes.
The heat of the tin. But we need to do a few things before that. You've already done the wind speed outside. You've already done the light outside.
Temperature outside, humidity outside. Right, light, 250, perfectly acceptable. Still above that 200 lux. We need
perfectly acceptable. What were you saying before? The words that they do okay.
Yeah,
perfectly
the
acceptable.
one word I'd banned from farmers is the word acceptable, and I've used it myself. Temperature 22.2, humidity 64.
What was the temperature outside?
The temperature outside was actually 22.
Okay, cool. This might be daft. Should we do it over the calves?
But this is here. This is still in the shed.
Yeah, but no calves go here, do they?
But the calf's there.
Yeah, okay.
So I can reach over. Do you want me to do that?
No, I'm just interested. Will it change? There's no change. What was the other one? Light? There's no change. Okay, it's fine.
Wind speed is important to do at calf height 0.1, 0.2. Yeah, 0.2 is perfectly all right. 0.2 is the target.
Told you it's good calf building.
We are going to do now how hot these guys are. 26.4 is the temperature of the roof. In here is 22 now.
Yeah.
The roof is 26.
Yeah.
What temperature do you normally have your radiators on in your house in the winter? So about 21, normal.
Yeah, okay.
21.
I wouldn't even know.
So these guys here, basically, 27.4.
No way, no.
So you've got these guys here.
They've got plenty of water. Yeah.
You've got them lying next door to your radiator at full blast in the height of summer. Tin has got a thermal conductivity of +7. Wood is around 2, fibre cement is 0.5, concrete is about 0.3. So when we talk about protecting calves from the heat stress, because they get it as well as anything else, anything above 25 degrees with a calf, and they really start to struggle with heat stress.
Okay.
Cows, it's 20, and the reason being is these guys' rumen isn't there developed enough yet to create heat. But at this age, they're not creating any stack effect, so there's absolutely no point in having a ventilated ridge, because when it's no wind,
they can't push it anyway.
It won't make
the stack
difference.
effect is where the amount of animals in there pushes the hot air out.
Yeah, it changes the temperature of the
If
air
someone didn't watch
inside
the video
building.
last time.
The sun's come out,
That's amazing. We knew it was warm. 30 degrees that was.
but it won't feel hot to the touch yet. It takes time to filter it through.
Today's not 22 degrees, you know. That was why I was worried at the 36 degrees we were getting. Obviously they were drinking lots of water, just make sure they had loads.
Fine.
Yeah.
Full access to water is not a problem. There's no ammonia holding. So it's already increased in temperature though by a degree since we've been in here. So no, there's no ammonia,
Which is good.
That is
It'd be
excellent.
interesting to hear that. That was excellent. Interesting to do that on top of the muck heap. Should we move the muck heap a little bit?
You can do. The ones that it really goes off the scale sometimes are cattle on slats.
Oh really?
That's-
Is it the muck underneath
The
it?
muck underneath stays there all the way through the winter and builds up, and that's when you can have some real problems. But also, if I'd have gone and tasted it on before you mucked it out or as you were mucking out, it's when you walk into a place and you think, oh, eyes a bit sick.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
you can
ammonia.
smell it when we're mucking out. You can smell it.
You know, I've seen a lot of old and new calf sheds that just, in my personal opinion, don't consider the byproduct of milk going in one end. Because if you got these calves, how many could you get? How many did you get in here?
So
30?
this calf building fits 16 single pen, and then we've got 10 spaces on this, right, 26. And when it's busy calving time, 26, and then in there we'll have
Can I call it
14
30 for
to
my
15.
maths? 30 for my maths.
Yeah, okay.
You're feeding 6 litres of milk and ablib water, so let's say 7 litres, 8 litres. They're taking in 8 litres, they're peeing out 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
6 litres a day, 3 6s are 18, so it's 180 litres of waste water. Then the water you throw down.
Yeah. Okay, throw it on the floor. That's the big thing as well.
Yeah, but that's where all the wee goes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that takes it up to, let's say, 200 litres a day, 365 days a year. That's 76,000 litres of wee and water. And I've seen some new sheds where it goes from the back to the front, and it's 20 foot, and there's a little lip, and you get a tiny little dribble coming out, which means that those pens are soaking up nigh on 80,000 litres of fluid with straw that you've had to buy.
Well, yeah, so my idea was to cut a hole in here so it dropped into the middle.
Yep.
And then it went out. Keep the pens drier. The other thing you can do is you can have systems now where you can lift them like a pig pen. Dad said he used to put them on pallets where the urine used to go through it, but the straw would go on top and then urine would come out. All these beds are sloped so it comes down. What I'd really want to do is like a channel in the middle, but if I'm truly honest with you, we're not going to spend too much money on this calf building because this is where the cafe wants to go. So when we think about putting a farm shop cafe up, we'll be knocking the calf building down and we're going to move it somewhere else. But yeah, that's a bit down the project line. You can feel it's getting warm in here.
Yeah.
Like the calves do well. They do well in here, but we do kind of.
I've seen worse. Increase.
It's good Stuart came, and this was the reason why Stuart came. 36.2 degrees on that hot. Obviously, we're going to put in the beds. We're at 22 degrees down there, so it's
Which
not,
is temperature of the building.
yeah, which is fine, but it's, you know, that heat's got to go somewhere in between that. And Dad was saying, which I completely agree with, every single stage of a cow's life is hugely important, and calves are very important because in the first 3 months a cow will put the most amount of weight on per its body weight, if that makes sense. So it's so
If
important.
you look after a calf well the first day, it'll add a month to its milking career. Look after that calf, continue another 10 days, you add another month to the career. If you look after that calf really well in the first 10 weeks, you'll add another month to its milking career. So if you look at the first 10 weeks of their life, is 3 months of their milking career.
Yeah. And we love our calves. Look at them. Look how healthy they are. And they are happy, but this is staggering. Gonna go again. All 28. we're going cooler. It's around
You've seen
28 to 36 maximum, but it's staggering how hot that is.
Smoke bomb.
Oh, this is exciting. Everyone loves a smoke bomb. Stuart is the king of the smoke bombs, and now he has a small one.
I got a baby one for baby calves.
Baby calves, not going to hurt the calves or anything.
It shouldn't do. There's plenty of ventilation in here.
Yep.
If it was a still day like we did on the cubicle house, I'd say no. If it's not, we're going to have to suddenly drag them all outside.
3, 2, 1.
Well, as you can see, it's blasting all over the place. Ideally, we'd like it all to go up, but it's going sideways. It's going over the calves in there.
It's going out.
But it's going out through there. The air is coming down through the gap.
Yeah, it's pushing it down, isn't it? It's not going through the top like it did at the cow shed.
No, it's pushing it down, and that's the one thing we don't want.
Oh, okay.
Because we need to get it away from everything. So if you've got a calf that coughs over here, it's being pushed in that side, across there, and straight across there.
So as this calf coughs, because she's got pneumonia for some reason, it gets pushed up there, pushed down,
and pushed across.
But it is coming out.
Oh, it's definitely coming out.
So it's coming out the sides there. It's really interesting. I think you can, hopefully you can see it from the camera, of how, you see that? So it's coming down,
and then it moves, and it blows back in again.
And it blows back in a little. Depends how the gusting is doing.
Yes. It doesn't give us that even flow.
No. It's interesting though, isn't it?
We've got to get rid of this air, and that's the key to healthy growing calves is fresh air, light. We've got the lights. That's a relatively easy one to do. It's keeping that air movement going, getting fresh air into their lung. These guys' lungs are the same size as ours.
Like I say, they're doing all right. Red ashes. It's a very good looking calf.
Target for air movement. For calf building, we are looking for a 0.2 metre air movement, again past the nostrils and everything else. This building needs to be pretty much cleared every 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Timer's just come in and said it's 1 minute 42. And there's a breeze in here.
Yeah.
But the problem is the breeze is going round and round circles again, like it did with the lows, and it's coming back down again and everything else. 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes, 40 seconds is the ideal. As far as ventilation goes in here today, less than 2 minutes. I'm really not going to worry about it too much.
Okay, which is good.
4 air changes an hour for winter. Spring, autumn is 40 air changes an hour.
Oh, really?
And summer, height, is 60 air changes an hour.
So every minute
minute is the maximum.
Because it's hot.
Because it's hot. They need the fresh, cooler air. 1 minute, it's a cooler day today, so well, it's cooler in here than it is out there.
Our vets do this thing called Red Rose. It's really good. You can go to them and do talks, and like there's calf talk and stuff. And they were talking, there's a difference between fresh air and a draft as well, isn't there?
0.2 of a second is fresh air. 0.15 is still air. 0.3 is a draft.
Is that right?
It's 1 second per minute.
So that's why we left that as a gate. So instead of having a door, because it becomes a draft when it's a small gap, and when you do the big gap, it's fresh air. I know it wasn't perfect, but we just cut the side off and just put a gate that can go through.
It's one of these questions, and I'll ask you this, and you have to be honest. Are they in here out of convenience, necessity, or choice?
It works, it works very well for them to be here because it's easy.
And that's not the answer to the question, that's a political answer. Are they in here because of choice, necessity?
A bit of all of them, I think.
I would say they're in here because of convenience. You already had a building.
Yep.
Through choice, because you had nowhere else to put them that was suitable.
Yeah.
But if somebody was to turn around and say, you've just won the lottery, you can have a brand spanking new calf shed.
Yeah.
How quickly would it take you to move them?
Yeah, change them, because it's a good adaptation of an old cubicle house.
Because it's well used.
Yeah, because we can muck it out, put it in the middle, scrape it out. And the only thing is it holds moisture. The tin, like we have just shown, is really not great. Makes it hotter and cooler for our calves. But then we adapt it because we give them fresh water twice a day, you know.
Most of the calf sheds that I go to and see on farms, without a shadow of a doubt, are necessity or convenience.
Yeah.
They're never by default.
Right, okay, so we're happy in here, are we?
I'm very happy in here. They do look well. However, I feel as though they could be better.
Could be better. Stuart's obviously going to give me some top tips on how I can improve it, but I don't want to spend too much money on this calf building before Stuart goes, and we're going to go to the other shed, because we would like to put a farm shop cafe up sooner rather than later. So if you spend too much money on this and then you move it again, it's hard because it works the farm shop, it's just there. The cafe here would be amazing, so you could have a cafe here, bifolding doors, everything, and then look at the views you could have. Like, how amazing would those views be? It'd be very cool. Will this push us further to make a calf building? Right, let's go to the next bit. Calf building number 2, which is actually number 1. Cows calved there, they have the calf, they're with them for 24 to 72 hours. and then they come into here where we can monitor them really, really well, and I can feed them. It's just from the parlour which is there. So we're going to do all the tests of where the calves would normally go, especially in winter. And in winter, like I was telling Stuart, that whole calf building will be full of 26 calves, and then this will be full of 14 to 15 calves everywhere. Normally we have 6 in each if we're maximum full, but I normally like to have 4 in each because you've got 4 feeders, so you can feed them quite easily.
Yeah, convenience.
Convenience.
And unfortunately, the biggest problem with this is you should never mix animals of different ages. So you have no choice.
No.
But that would be, out of everything I've seen here, that is my biggest concern.
Yeah, so that's the only issue we do have. Because we do all our AI in here, we do our foot trimming, we have cows that calve, and like a cow could poo there, and the poo goes into there, and then the calf, they just eat anything, so just like a bit bacteria will go into them, and then we do have a little bit of an issue sometimes with crypto, sometimes with X, Y, and Z, but when we move them into the calf building, we definitely do better, which we explained before. When they push on in there, and here we do try and move them, but when we're full, a bit like everyone, we just try our best, you know.
Humidity, calf height.
Calf height's probably about here.
So it's already gone down.
Yeah.
The reason why it's got more humidity the higher you go is because all that dirty water is evaporating.
Oh, okay.
Because it's lifting.
Yeah.
Hot air rising.
But normally there'd be straw here. I reckon the humidity would be higher.
I think it will be.
Because normally there would be. It'd be interesting to do it. Sorry that we mucked it out, but I just wanted to.
No. You can find. You've got to look after animals. You've got to look after the farm. Like absolute miles. We're looking at 800.
Fantastic.
Wind speed in here.
0.1.
0.1.
Yeah, but what about the calves that are here? Oh, that's interesting.
0.3. Now the reason why it's increased, I'll tell you that now, is because the air movement is following the wall.
Oh, interesting.
So the closer to the wall you get, you know, we talked
have
about.
a few cobwebs in here. We have lots of cobwebs. You know, you've got no air movement, don't you? Because spiders will create cobwebs if you've got no air movement. Temperature, you were talking about concrete?
19.5. 22, you did the straw bed, 19.5 in here. So
right, okay.
So it's 3 degrees.
Yeah,
so the straw was an insulator, so we'd expect it to be warmer.
Okay.
The wall, 19.5 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So that's half what it was in there. The roof, which was the highest it was in there, was 38.
Yeah, we tested again, it was 38. It was so hot.
27.
27.6.
So it's still warm.
Yeah. But is that because it's fibre sheets instead of
10. Barriered 25% more heat
than the tin?
Than the tin. And if you had a reasonable amount of air movement, because all we got those, again, is those vented ridges, every other one. They are brilliant on straw barns, hay barns for breathing. They are no good for livestock.
Something to work on.
Smoke bomb.
Smoke bomb time. Yes. This is the best. This is why Stuart comes. Let's be honest. They're only diddy things.
Any bigger, it would fill the shed up, and we wouldn't be able to see.
So we can see a lot of air getting pushed from that window
and straight down to the other end.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
Which is a little bit worrying. But it's left the calf area.
It's left this area. 200 days a year, they're perfectly all right. Problem is, 165 days a year, they're not.
Yeah.
And like you tasked me with the cubicles, making sure that every cow would be the same, anything that I do is tasked with trying to make it as good as we can 365 days a year.
4 minutes, 49 seconds, and you'd still say...
Let's slow down that corner. Not much, I reckon another minute it'll be all gone.
It's got nowhere to escape, has it?
No.
Well, that window there, it's a pretty big window. It's like 4 foot by 4 foot, 3 by 3 maybe.
But what you got to remember is if there's just calves in here, when there are no cows in here, these guys aren't big enough to produce any heat, so you don't get hot air rising. Won't rise up to that window because there's nothing to make it go up there.
No stack effect.
No stack effect. So it will just sit there.
Thanks, Stuart. So that means that this calf building has failed a little bit, and well, it's come out of this area, I guess, but like I was saying before, and Luke, you might agree with me as well, Luke's just here as well, calves do better in the calf building than they do in here.
Absolutely. More ventilation. More ventilation
and them being next to cows, but the space we have a problem with.
It needs must.
At the moment we've been quite quiet because we've got no cows calving, we've been to be able to clean this out, and we still only have 4 or 5 spaces in our calf building. You know, when it's busy,
I know you're going to ask me a question in a bit, and I'll preempt it by saying, yes, I will look to see what we can do here to improve your calves,
Yeah.
but it might mean moving some animals around. Or it might not be. I don't know yet.
Gotta be easy. Make life easier, it won't get done. That is the end of today's video. I've had to edit quite hard. Sorry it's quite long. Our Stuart loves to chat and loves to talk about things. I've had it super interesting. We had 14 questions, me and Dad did, so I'm gonna put that in another video because it's long enough. But I was quite shocked at how hot those tins were. But the main thing is the calves themselves weren't too hot. I know 20 degrees, 22 degrees is warm, but it's not like baking them, which is the important thing for me. The thing that we did do is we had these fans up, so we made sure these are on. There's one there, and then there's one down there as well. It just trying to move the air, kind of try to keep them a little bit cooler. But again, I don't want to spend massive amount of money on here because of the things that we want to do in the future, if that makes sense to you guys. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, get your TP merch at tompem-Ballam Live. It would mean the world to me. It helps me with the developments we're on. We did loads of developments about 2 weeks ago, so you'll see that on Friday. Lots of move, ripped everything up, and we had to make some changes that I didn't think, and it just got more and more like these projects do. So guys, if you did, that'd be amazing. Thank you very much, and we will see you on Friday, and maybe even a cheeky little Sunday video. Dad just wants to show you something very, very special. See you in a bit. Bye.